This is WeatherScope.
A late winter punch has you snowed in across parts of Middle America and in the southeast. Floodwater is lapping at the steps. Hello, I'm Warren Madden. Welcome to this edition of WeatherScope.
And I'm Christina Abernathy. We'll have details on the blizzard conditions, but we'll begin with the dangerous storms and flooding rains in the southeast. Drenching rains have left parts of the Atlanta area underwater tonight. This roller coaster at a local amusement park is surrounded by water. 3 3/4 inches of rain this weekend in Atlanta pushed many creeks and rivers over their banks. Flooding is also a problem in the Pensacola, Florida area. Heavy rains have put streets underwater and turned parking lots into wading pools. For safety's sake, it is always advisable to keep your children away from standing water. Well, let's take a look at what we've got going on out there, and what we see is plenty of rain. We've got a cold front pushing through the region, a strong area of low pressure to the north, headed northeastward and sort of dragging this cold front along it, behind it, and here across the southeastern U.S. That's where it's pushing through out ahead of it. Plenty of rain and plenty of storms. Squall line moving through Florida right now. We've got plenty of wet weather here through the Carolinas and Georgia on into Tennessee and Kentucky. And we have had numerous reports of severe weather so far on Sunday. Several reports of tornadoes, but the dots here indicating either wind or hail, and we've had a lot of that as well into Georgia and Alabama. But as for right now, the greatest threat of severe weather exists right in this area. Tornado watch in effect for you here in part of northern and central Florida. So there is the threat of severe thunderstorms, some of which could produce damaging winds and also the potential for hail. And also some of these severe storms could produce tornadoes. So that's just something to keep in mind here. Just remain alert. A look at the radar. You can see that line of storms here pushing through Jacksonville, and that line extending southward to just north of the Tampa Bay area. And as we head into Lake and Volusia County, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for you. And this line of storms does have a history of downing trees and downing power lines. Also heavy amounts of rain with this as well. But around Ocala and other areas here, Jacksonville, we've had reports of downed trees and power lines as this line of storms moves through. So look out Daytona Beach, eventually Orlando and Tampa as well as these storms move through the Sunshine State. To the north, rain, and we also have some embedded storms here through northern and central Georgia. And then even farther to the north, the rain extends here on into eastern Kentucky and as well into Indiana. So plenty of wet weather here and plenty of chance for soggy conditions throughout the southeastern U.S. So look out for that. Locally heavy amounts of rain, and again that threat for severe weather here in northern parts of central Florida. Warren?
From the rain to the snow, a blizzard is causing travel trouble spots. The storm has closed roads in parts of Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska. The snowplows were out in force today in Omaha, Nebraska, but blowing snow made driving conditions quite treacherous. A 250-mile stretch of Interstate 80 across Nebraska was closed for a second day. A foot of snow has fallen in some areas, and many cars and trucks either were getting stuck or were blown off the road. And it was a similar story in Kansas on this Sunday. This is Topeka, where traffic was being channeled off of U.S. Highway 75 after it was closed between Topeka and the Nebraska border. The highway isn't expected to reopen until Monday. Blowing and drifting snow has cut visibility down to near zero. And quite a lot of snow has dumped out of the sky with this winter storm, turning into a late winter storm. Union, Nebraska picking up almost a foot and a half. Des Moines, 12 inches, a foot. Auburn, Nebraska, a foot. And public safety officials in Des Moines were literally pleading with people to stay off the roads. Doesn't matter if you have a four-wheel drive vehicle, folks. If all four wheels can't get traction, you're going to end up in the ditch. And a special statement out of the National Weather Service in Des Moines was saying that the local safety officials were basically saying if you get stuck, don't count on anyone coming to help you because they're swamped. Kansas City picking up about 2 inches, Topeka about 3 inches of snow. The heaviest snow in a band from right around Omaha up through Des Moines and then heading up toward the Wisconsin-Iowa border, where in many cases seeing a foot or even a little more of snow. The low pressure center right now, right around St. Louis, it's on the back side that we're still seeing the snow and some very gusty winds. Indeed, we're seeing winds gusting up over 40 miles an hour places around Des Moines, heading on down towards St. Joseph, Missouri, and still seeing some snow across Iowa, reaching into Missouri. And as we head into a little closer into the St. Louis area, boy, you can see where that low pressure center is, curling right around here, just maybe a little bit to the west of St. Louis. The dividing line for the snow and rain pretty much right along the Mississippi. Quincy reporting a little bit of snow. Also heading down in towards St. Louis, reporting snow, but you come over into central Illinois around Springfield and Champaign-Urbana, it's falling in the form of rain. Also seeing a little snow still going on across parts of Wisconsin, Madison. You're seeing a little snow, and also heading up into the UP of Michigan. As we spread it all out, take a look at the big picture. Here's our big storm, but the other big story is this. Cold air. Look at the current temperatures. 38 right now in Dallas, already down to 4 in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's quite a change from what we saw this time last night. 20 degrees colder than this was this time last night here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's going to be a blue norther, folks. Let's talk about that a little more in the forecast. Here's Christina.
All right, here we go. And I'm going to talk a bit about El Nino here, and what we've actually been dealing with has been a lot of rain in the southeastern U.S., and that can at least in part be attributed to El Nino. But that's all going to be changing as Arctic air is going to be moving into the country, especially the eastern half of the U.S., and this is more typical of what we would expect for a non-El Nino year. So the northern branch of our jet stream is going to be the dominant branch, and that is going to allow some very cold air, at least compared to what we've seen recently, to move on into the eastern half of the country, so get ready for that. Let's take a look at our forecast, and into the northeast we go, where you will have the chance for rain and thunderstorms here to start your day in New York and Philadelphia, D.C. in the 40s. Take the umbrella, you're going to need it. Windy in Atlanta at 49, as well as New Orleans, and we may still have some rain and storms as we head on into Florida. To the north, Chicago, snow and wind for you, 29 degrees. Bundle up as you head out, and look out back to the west. Minneapolis, Fargo, Kansas City, it is going to be chilly in the teens, and with those windy conditions, it's going to feel even colder than that. So you will definitely need the big coat and take care there, because it's going to be quite chilly. To the northwest, rain here for Seattle and Portland, at least the chance for showers. To the south, looking a little better for you. Cold temperatures overnight with 20s all the way down into Texas, 30s to the Gulf Coast. And here's where our system is going to be on Monday. Moving off to the northeast, rain and still some storms, snow behind it, and take a look at how close together those isobars are. That means we're going to be dealing with windy conditions. Still dealing with some snow through the lakes region, but things will quiet down considerably along the east coast as we head through the day, but still snowing here. Watch out for that, and we'll also see the chance for snow in the northwestern U.S. By far, the heaviest amounts of rain are going to be along the east coast and into Florida, where you could pick up well over an inch of rain. And those temperatures tomorrow, we begin to see that cold air moving in, although it's still going to be mild but soggy in the southeast.
Near blizzard conditions blast the plains and the Midwest. Will overnight snow affect your travel plans tomorrow?
An update is coming up on TravelWise after your local forecast. Stay with us.